Hey there, thank you for being here. We are on week 6, so we're like over the hump and on our way down toward the end of this 11 weeks. I hope that you are enjoying it, and yeah, this week is all about decision, and I think it's going to come at a great time because this is, you know, the halfway point. It's the time to really commit to something in your life that you want to change and go for it. So let's get started into this week's content. So for decision, I'm going to start out with the very opening quote or fact, I guess you could say statistic. That's the word I'm looking for. The statistic that he shares says an accurate analysis of over 25,000 men and women who had experienced failure disclosed that their lack of decision was near the head of the list for the major causes of their failure. This is not merely a statement of theory, it is a fact. I know for myself, when I commit to something, it's a completely different feeling than if I am considering something. If I'm interested or considering, a path of travel per se, and I'm actually, like, the difference in that and me actually committing to and going down a path is very different. I don't know if you have kids, but I know for me that is a huge it's a huge like fighting or problem point with my kids, primarily if I'm indecisive. So I have a teenager who is very social, and oftentimes I have to decide up front if I'm going to allow him to do something like that evening. So for this weekend, we're coming up on a 4-day weekend for President's Day, and that's like 4 nights that I'm going to have to face the decision of, am I going to let my son do something? Because that almost always requires me driving, picking up, and then just for, as a mom, I want him to protect his own energy and his own like physical resources. So I need to help him to manage that up and down of sleepovers where he doesn't get very much sleep, and activities for the next day and that kind of thing, and really be proactive in helping him to create the best situation in his own life, beyond what he would think, of course, is going to his friends' houses every night and every day and just being busy and gone all the time. But as a mom, I have to help him to make good decisions. And so I have to decide ahead of time if I'm going to let him do something. And for him, it's more frustrating if I'm indecisive. And it's also frustrating for me if he's indecisive. So very often what will happen is he will ask to do something and I will agree to it, and then he will change it. He will say, we're not going to Travis's anymore, we're all sleeping over here. Or, just like constant changing and shifting in decisions. And it is such a huge point of frustration for me and for him. And so I was thinking a lot about this chapter with my son, because I think it is so important for us and us as parents to help communicate that to our children, is how to make a decision and stick with it. Or don't make the decision if you're not willing to stick with it, that happens a lot with him as well, where I'll make the decision and I'll say, yes, you can go do something, and situations, circumstances will change, and then I will change my mind because he changed his mind. So very interesting chapter that we're talking about today, and for sure some of the things that you want to pay attention to, I have in your decision worksheet, talking about procrastination and how procrastination is the opposite of decision. It's like a crutch that we can use to not make a decision and therefore not accomplish the goal that we want to accomplish. Napoleon Hill really has this chapter at the exact middle of the book, and I think that it's really important to recognize that committing and making the decision is the only way that you're going to be able to move forward. So if you have something in your life that you are still kind of playing with, figuring out, that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, you're not going to accomplish that thing that you want to accomplish if you haven't decided and committed to it. And that's, kind of going back through the different steps that we've already come to get to this point. Manifesting something from nothing is, it takes this process that we're going through. So one of the things that I want to add into this mix, Napoleon Hill talks a lot about other people's opinions and how the only thing that really matters is your opinion. You have a mind of your own, use it to make your own decisions, and guard yourself against sharing with too many people what you're doing, what your decision is, just in the idea that everyone is out to be successful. Like, everyone wants to be successful in life, and you really should just protect your own ideas to the degree that if you ask their opinion, you are opening yourself up to, to their whole ecosystem, whatever they have going on. And chances are good that they're also just wanting to achieve success in life as well. And so just be careful in asking too many people's opinions on your decision. The last thing I think that I wanted to cover was how making a decision about something really ties into our present moment awareness, living, and really trying to not worry so much about the outcome, not stressing and worrying and having anxiety about something that's in the future. So my analogy is a crock pot, and I tend to use a crock pot a lot in the winter especially, but I will tell you that a crock pot, you put everything in it and you turn it on and you set it and forget it. And that's kind of how I am doing the same process with the desires that I have. I'm putting them out there. I've written them down, and I put them out there into the universe, and now I'm just turning it on high and I'm walking away. And I think that this idea is really important because, first of all, it's a definite, very specific decision and goal that I've created, but I'm putting it, in my crock pot and turning it on and leaving it and going and doing the next thing in the moment, of my day. So I hope that this is maybe something that you can try, but I feel like you got to make the decision and be committed to what it is that you want. And that doesn't mean that you have to fuss over it and mess with it all day long. I mean, you just put it in your crock pot and you walk away knowing full well that you have done, everything that you need to do, and you don't need to worry about it. One of the things that I actually wasn't planning on talking about, but I feel like is just one more reason that this book, Think and Grow Rich, is great to pair with Eckhart Tolle's. I mean, it is and it isn't. Eckhart Tolle and his A New Earth and the Power of Now, but even more so in terms of the universal laws of like law of attraction, and actually, like, there are a lot of laws that I don't believe they're mentioned in Think and Grow Rich, but Napoleon Hill references the laws of nature like a lot, and he really is just reminding us in this book to kind of set it and forget it. Basically that the laws of the universe take over. Like, once you put it out there into the ether, into the universe, the laws of nature take over. Here's what I was looking for. He says, in your search for the secret of the method, do not look for a miracle, because you will not find it. You will only find the eternal laws of nature. These laws are available to every person who has the faith and the courage to use them. They may be used to bring freedom to a nation or to accumulate riches. There is no charge save the time necessary to understand and appropriate them. So that just is one more like little nugget of wisdom that I feel like most people, when they read this book, don't understand these like laws of nature that aren't exactly, they're not really in plain sight for people to understand them. Like, you really have to intuitively grasp them, if that makes sense. So making a decision and putting it out there in the universe, whether you write it down or you're speaking it every day, that is triggering the laws of nature to respond favorably to you. So this week for our conscious practices, I'm going to just remind you that taking a couple deep breaths or having a regular practice of laying down in the afternoon or having a 10-minute meditation can help you to reset your day, your mind, your body, all of the things. And so that's the first thing on our conscious practices. And then the second thing is to practice making decisions. And I always liked I think it's the Bible verse that says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Just committing to something and practicing that muscle of making decisions and committing, and even writing that down in your journal, because being able to see your progress from week to week or month to month, is good for it's like reinforcing the behavior, and you can actually look back and see, like, you know, maybe you wrote down an example of making better decisions with going out to eat. Like, I know that's a major, it used to be when my husband and I didn't have kids and we would be choosing somewhere to eat, and it just creates more problems when you can't make decisions. And so really practicing making decisions and documenting it, writing it down so that you can, you know, really just grow from it. And then I have a couple of questions in the alignment writing, and if you haven't been doing that, I would just pick any week you can practice writing to your intuition, and even having a conversation out loud with yourself works too. But a lot of people really kind of channel their intuition through writing. So I hope that you are enjoying everything so far and getting a lot out of it. Feel free to reach out to me through email with any questions or comments that you have. And I just want to thank you again for being here. And that wraps up week 6. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.